Start this up. There we go. I'm going to do a live chat thing on my phone today, so hopefully we last. The laptop was out of battery. See how we go anyway. Hey Benjamin, how you doing? I'm trying to figure out all this stuff in here. It's a mess in the garage at the moment. But I figured I'd bring you guys along while I do a bit of my nightly routine with a few of my animals. So I'm going to feed a few critters just while we're kind of talking away here. And since the lights are still on, I might feed a couple of these dragons some giant mealworms or something perhaps. So we'll see how we go there. Hey Debbie, how you going? Hopefully I can... Who's this bloke with no beard? Okay, so that's how I can see the comments. Yeah, I was getting ready for summer. You know, summer growth, so I'll be growing it back in. Check out what I scored for a few of my enclosures. A whole bunch of vines. My father-in-law was cutting out some stuff in the backyard not too long ago. He's trying to spruce the place up a little bit, ready for summer. Dry vines that I'll procure the bioactive tanks here. I'm going to do that tonight. We'll see how we go. Main priority is definitely feeding a few critters. This actually should be pretty handy doing this on my phone because I'll be able to take you guys with me on the tripod and just kind of plonk you down somewhere. That's pretty good. I got a whole bunch of giant mealworms that I'll probably feed out to some of these bigger lizards. I've got to see if I got some of my old ones left too. I'd rather feed those out first. Oh yeah. How's everybody's week been? Any new exciting stuff happening out there in the world? Probably nothing if you're in Victoria. Let's see if I can figure out how to get this list of comments and stuff up. Oh, there we go. Can't pop up. Just more carving. Yeah, the background's looking sick, Cam. I haven't mucked around with grout too much, to be honest. I've played it with it a couple of times, but I suppose I didn't get the response that I was really wanting from it. Is what it is. Maybe I just had it too dry or too wet or whatever. I'm not sure what I did wrong, but it just didn't crack well. You see Billy's keen over here. He's seen the grubs. You gonna come down and say hello to everybody? Come down off your branch, you silly goose. A bearded dragon's just down in the corner here too. He's keen for some tucker. Come on. Over here. Oh, missed it. I'm just going to put you guys down a bit so you can actually see this little dude. Whoa. So these guys get giant mealworms as a bit of a treat. Usually crickets and woodies make up the bulk of their diet. And Sonic gets some leafy greens too, but they absolutely go mental for these giant mealworms. I'm assuming you mean where did I get the frill neck from, Debbie? I got him from a breeder. He was actually in near the city, I think. You dropped one. Look, it's down there. Don't want that crawling around later. It might bite you. I've had Billy since I think 2016 now. I had a few memories pop up with him the other day actually, and so I think it was about 2016. So he's actually probably getting close to about 4.5, 5 years now. Because he was a bit of he wasn't a complete baby when I got him. He was a pretty decent size still. But yeah, he's an awesome little lizard. I shouldn't say little because he's a bit of a monster. Yeah. Good boy. Oh, sweet. Well, that's good to know. I'll just start doing it through my phone then, because to be honest, it's so much easier for me than plugging into the laptop and that. If it's going to work better for you guys, I'd much rather keep you guys happy too. And like as I said before, like with the phone, and I've got it on the little tripod thing that I usually film off, it'll just mean that I'm more mobile, so I can walk around and show you guys a few critters and stuff. Or, you know, I'm kind of killing... You're right. Just help yourself, why don't you? I think he's trying to tell me something. He's like, hurry up with those bugs. He's always been like this. He used to do this when he was a baby with just like a thing of cockroaches or whatever. He'd just stick his head in and mung down. You're going to eat all the meal stuff, the damn meal as well. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm glad that you said that, Cam, because if it is going to be way clearer, then I'd rather do that for you guys. Hey, EJ, how you doing, mate? Good to see you on the chat. Good to see you on the chat. Whoop. Jesus, okay, I have to cut you off because you're going to get fat. You already are fat. You're going to come out and at least say hello to everybody? I'm just going to sit there. There we are. A bit of crud on your face. You got the meal from the mealworms. I saw another comment pop up from Debbie. Yeah, that's all right, Debbie. I assumed that's what you meant. Yeah, he was pretty... I'm not really supporting you that well, am I? Or you want to go in? Okay. He does what he wants. That's the one thing about this lizard. Oh, there you go. You can climb under there. You'll be right. You'll be right. There he is. I could probably feed little Sonic too. He's a bit of a disaster at the moment. It happens every time this year. And for those of you who don't know, I should explain who Sonic is. Sonic is my central bearded dragon. I like to refer to him as my wife's lizard, even though he technically was mine to begin with. But yes, he's a bit of a disaster this time of year because he just runs up and down his enclosure and causes a mess because he sees his reflection in the olive python enclosure. So you can see my glass looks fantastic. Look at this. Glass and water bowls. He makes a real mess. That's crazy because, in all honesty, he like wears away all the dirt near the front, kicks it all into his water bowl. I think I'm actually going to start like putting his water bowl in the back corner because he doesn't really use that too much. And if that means that I can keep my glass a little cleaner, I'll do that. I saw another comment pop up there. Any lucks with the diamond pairing yet? It's funny you say that. I'm actually really second guessing all the sexing on the diamonds, to be honest. The biggest diamond arrow, who I've had the longest, I'm starting to just kind of hypothesize that maybe she's actually in fact a male. And the reason that I say that is just some of the behaviour and the way that she was going through and not eating when usually males will probably be a little bit more keen on breeding while the females bulk up. Like, it kind of made me a little bit weirded out. And then the two younger diamonds, they're kind of acting in certain ways that make me think that they're females. Like sometimes, females when they're trying to get like follicle development and stuff going on, they kind of like hug water bowls or might soak in water bowls or whatever to cool down a little bit sometimes. One of them's doing that. One of the other ones is hugging the heat a lot, like really wanting heat. So, like I just go with the flow these days, man. Like, whatever's meant to be is meant to be. I obviously need to resex these snakes and see if I get a different reader on the probes or whatever. But Frillneck's just jumped down for more. He's not getting any more though. I don't want him to fill up on these. Settle down, mate. We're not going to load you up either. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. At the end of the day, like, I used to be so worried about breeding animals and stuff, and now I honestly just go with the flow, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? If it happens, it happens, and that's awesome, and that's a bonus, and that's fantastic. But if it doesn't, or I just don't stress too much. I just dropped a giant mealworm. Give it to them that often, but one or two here or there won't hurt. Oh, damn. Bottom of my tripod's super wide, so you guys are going to get a weird angle for a tick. Whoa. You can see my head. Lucky you. Alright. I'm actually really loving this whole idea of having a tripod on this thing. This is cool. Little guys down here front and center. Let's see if he wants one of these. Sorry guys, I've seen that there's a couple of comments in. I will get to them. Can you guys see him down there on the forest floor? Where's the other one? This is half my... Whoa, geez, there you go. The other one just popped out of nowhere. Don't attack him. Here you go, here you go. Oh, there you go. Don't fight over it, Jesus. Yeah. You can have a couple each. That's it. Hey, 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 don't snip his. There you go. Don't snip hers, I should say. Man, these guys blend in so well. I'm going to see if I can lift you in a little bit closer. You can see both these guys down here. Oh, it's like Lady of the Tramp, Boyd's Forest Dragon style. These guys are growing like real weeds now. Like the male's starting to get those awesome crests and stuff growing in. Yeah, oh man, I'm so stoked that I got these off Coop. It's one of those animals, like, you know, every now and then, like, oh, I'm sure everybody else has kind of had this thought at one point in time or another, where you get an animal because you're just like, you're a little bit amped up about it, and you're like, yeah, it'll be so cool to get this animal, and you get it, and you're kind of really enthralled about it for a while, and then all of a sudden, like, a little bit of the passion might fade out of it or whatever. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, that's happened with me with a couple of things here and there, and that's why I kind of swap around animals every now and then, is try to keep it a bit fresh and a bit interesting. These guys, however, these guys are something else. Like, these guys are just like, they're just fantastic. The colours on them, the attitude on them, like, let me just see if I can get a better close-up of these guys for you. Sorry, use my hand. See if I can flip this. Look how cool these guys are. They're such awesome little lizards. They're shedding all the time now. You can see the little female is shedding. You can tell that that's a girl. She's got like pretty much no crest on her. She's about the same size though. And then this is a little male. He's got that awesome crest. All these beautiful white spots on the side of his face. She's got those as well. Fantastic little critters. They've pretty much destroyed all the lower foliage in this tank though. And now it's just kind of filled up with that ficus. But to be honest, I don't actually mind it. I'd rather them have a little bit more area to kind of run around down the bottom there. I need to fill that water bowl too, so maybe I'll come back and do that. Yeah, all right, let's just have a quick look at these comments. All right. Josh says, my Eastern bearded dragon is the same at this time of year. I struggle to even open the enclosure without him running out. Yeah, that's the exact same with this guy as well. Sometimes the frillneck's a bit like that, because they're all males they're both males as well. But yeah, I can definitely sympathise with you there, mate. It gets a little bit distressing, I think, at times, because they just seem to want to do the bolt. Team Griffin, Luke, I cohabit a shingle and a central dragon together. I'm getting over the Critters Crumble substrate. What low humidity substrate for the shingle back do you recommend? Look, if you wanted to go away from like pet shop substrates, and in particular if you wanted something that's going to be awesome at like sucking humidity out of the air in particular, I would not go past Breeder's Choice kitty litter. It's like a grey recycled newspaper kitty litter, and I used to use it in a lot of my snake enclosures and things because it actually does so well at just drawing moisture out of the air, so it would be perfect for a shingleback. You just have to watch when they eat. You obviously just don't want to feed them on that directly. I'd probably put down a plate or something underneath them at least, just because otherwise the food will get stuck to that pretty easily. You could use eucalyptus mulch as well, just dry it out, dry it really well. Although recently I have had a bit of an explosion with some little bugs and things out of the eucalyptus mulch that I've gotten. So, you know, when I say that too, it's just like little flying gnats and things. I'm not exactly sure if they came out of the mulch itself or had a fly or something get in here and lay eggs or whatever they were doing, but yeah, a little bit annoying. But yeah, Breeder's Choice kitty litter, that'd be where I'd be going if you really want to suck the humidity out of the air. All right, well, waiting for some more in, I'm going to go get the water bottle and fill these guys up. So I'll let you swing around here. Keep an eye on them for me. I'll be back in 2 secs. But yeah, as I said, I'm just going to go around and feed a few critters. Tonight's one of my nights that I like to feed my frogs. I'm not sure if I'll see any of them out yet. Maybe a couple. There we go. Bit of fresh water for you guys. What do you reckon? Do you reckon we give them a misting as well? I'll go and turn on the misting system. So you guys can watch this come in. Alright, bit of a better view there. A little rain shower happening. What do you guys reckon? Oh, up here. A little bit of extra humidity in there for them. That might get the frogs calling as well, which will also make it interesting. All right, double checking, they're both in there. That's good. That's very good. I've got one side of my room here go to sleep. Just getting this tripod out, don't fall phone. The base of this tripod's a little bit too big. All right, what else should we go and have a look at? Pretty much done those dragons, happy with that. Cam says, my bioactive enclosure is swamped with those gnats too. No idea where it is from, but it's very annoying. Yeah, I agree. They are very annoying. I don't think they hurt anything, to be honest. But, you know, that idea is kind of neither here nor there. I don't really mind them. I don't do anything about them. Most of mine seem to be in frog enclosures anyway, so I just kind of hope that they chomp down on them eventually. Or hopefully they just die off and don't breed again. What else have we got here? Moby King says, I have 2 baby eastern longneck turtles and I think they have soft shell. I've provided adequate heating, clean water, hiding places and UVB, but I rarely see them bask. Now, it's kind of annoying about this phone thing though, is the comments kind of disappear. I'm thinking about taking them out to the pond, I'm going to assume, out to the PO, I'm assuming the pond. Start giving them lots of time outside. Honestly, like, baby turtles need a lot of really natural sunlight. As much as you can provide top quality UVB for turtles in captivity, you can't beat the natural sunlight, and you're never going to be able to beat it. So, turtles out of any animal, reptile-wise, I find that they really do need that natural sunlight, especially if they are starting to get soft shell. I'd also ask, like, what type of UVB are you using? Are you using, like, coil compact UVB? Are you using T8s, T5s, mercury vapors? Because I pretty much wouldn't keep a turtle indoors nowadays without a T5 UVB 10.0 above them. It's pretty extreme, but they do need extreme UVB to really harden those shells up. And they also need to obviously have enough calcium intake to be able to do that as well. So that's something else you could look at. Just make sure that you are giving them what they need food-wise for them to be able to turn that into a nice hard shell as well. So I don't think you said what your diet was there. Yeah, maybe just chime in and say what your diet is, just to see if there's anything that you could kind of be giving them that's a little bit better. You know, people kind of poo-poo the idea of having like calcium blocks and stuff like in the water. Some people just say that it's like pet shops trying to rip people off. Well, no, I don't think so personally. You know, having calcium in the water means that the turtle's physically going to be able to drink calcium from the water column, which will in turn then hopefully help uptake the vitamin D3 and everything that they're going to you know, maybe just take that into consideration as well. If you can get them onto a pellet food, sometimes that'll help because the pellets will have certain types of levels of calcium and D3 and stuff like that in there to help that. I know long necks in particular, maybe long necks can be a little bit of a pain to get eating pellets. One trick that I've used in the past is if anybody at home eats meat and you're having a steak or something like that that's got a little bit of blood in the packet, soak a couple of pellets in those to kind of just soften them up a little bit when putting them in the water with them. And I find that that sometimes gives them a bit of a better smell than a pellet in the water, let's say, and then that kind of entices them to eat a pellet a little bit more regularly. So that's something you could do. Also earthworms. Earthworms are fantastic. Just make sure you rinse all the dirt off them as much as you can. Okay, I feed them, whoops. Where'd you go? Where'd the comment go? I feed them crickets and frozen blocks with fish and spinach, bloodworms and other stuff. I also use turtle health box. Okay, cool. So yeah, so at least you're giving them a nice varied diet. Maybe just add some other stuff in there like earthworms. Even if you can get them to eat young soldier fly larvae, that'd be really good because those are super rich in calcium as well. I've got coir peat in my tanks as well, Cam. Sorry, I just saw your comment there. So, you know, it depends. Like, I don't just use just eucalyptus mulch. Like, a bulk of it is. I do use a lot of coir peat as well. So, but who knows? It could just be the fact that they're just attracted to the environment. You know, if one gets through the mesh tops or whatever on these enclosures, I'm sure one can turn into many pretty quickly. All right, I'm going to pop you guys. Actually, I'm going to pop you facing the bioactive wall, because we are going to feed some frogs. No worries, Moby. No, like, I'm happy to help out with whatever I can think of, but yeah, you can't beat sunlight. So even if you can just take them out in like a natural, well, not a natural, but like a little sort of environment that you can kind of keep half in shade, half in sun, and just let them dry out during the time as well, but actually get that sunlight into them. Just make sure that they're obviously protected. The last thing you want to do is have a bird come down and grab them or something. So, you know, maybe take a book outdoors if it's a nice day and just sit with them for half an hour to an hour or so and let them really dry out and get that sun into them, because that's going to be the best thing for them to help dry up those, not dry up those shells, but harden up those shells. I'm going to get some cricket tubs happening. So I need to get my ladder and go for a bit of a climb. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm going to feed a few bugs and I'm going to see if I can hopefully, you know, zoom you guys in on a few critters and stuff in this bioactive wall while I'm doing so. Yeah. Three different sizes of crickets on tonight's menu. We've got some mediums, some smalls and some extra smalls. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys actually while we're doing this. I'll turn this around to my messy garage. See my surfboards and stuff. Here we go. Here's our tubs down here. Oh, a couple of quick questions that come through. I've taken them out a couple of times a week on good days, and would mealworms be any good? Maybe don't do mealworms, to be honest, mate, just especially if they're young, just because the mealworms have a really hard exoskeleton. So little tiny turtles like that might struggle to actually pass them properly, so you might end up causing a blockage that's not needed. So if you were going to try anything, I'd really try those soldier fly larvae, because they're nice and soft, and also earthworms, but just make sure you rinse both, well, at least the earthworms, rinse all the dirt off. Hey mate, how you going? Good to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining. All right, so to get my bugs ready for feeding, I do like dealing with crickets because at least they don't cause me to get the sneezes. So that's why I've not got my big respirator on. But I essentially just shake out all the cardboard just to kind of limit where they can run to. So that means that I've got quick access to as many numbers as I need. So I can usually fly through. Oop, one got out. He's free for now. Yeah, so I can usually fly through and get everyone fed in about 15 minutes or so. Might take a little bit longer tonight as I'm chatting to you guys, but that's alright. Two birds, one stone, as they say. So I do leave like a cardboard tube inside of these while I am feeding, or while I have knocked out all of this. So it just makes it easy for me to shake a cardboard tube straight into a jar full of calcium powder or whatever. And then I can dish them out and just pour them out of a jar. Or tweezer them out, however I want to do it on the day, depending on what I'm feeding. I don't think I've got many extra smalls left. Might make it interesting. Need to give these guys some carrots as well. Okay. So back up here. I need to find my feeding jar. I've got a little jar here somewhere. I've got calcium powders and things in. Are gut-loaded freeze-dried feeders any good? Oh, I don't know, to be honest. I don't use them. I don't know if anything freeze-dried is really that crash hot. Like, I know that it probably wouldn't be anything wrong with it, but I just like the idea of live stuff, to be honest. Like, it's a little bit more natural. It, you know, can wriggle around and entice them a little bit more to want to eat. Well, that's just my opinion, though, so take that with a grain of salt. So you don't have to do as I do, but you're more than welcome to should you want to. Alright, here's my old pasta sauce jar. Still got the label on it too. I've had this thing for years. Yeah, it's really high-tech reptile keeping now. Actually, I lie. I haven't had this thing for years. I've had it for probably about a year now. Before that, I had a slightly bigger jar. Downside to glass jars is you drop them and they smash everywhere. Yeah, not good fun. Alright, so I'm going to do a bit of a mix of a multivitamin and a calcium powder. Common eastern froglets are starting to get excited. Believe it or not, this is not actually Reptile One calcium powder. I haven't had Reptile One calcium powder for a while now, but I use the jar. Ooh. That sounded like a funny squeak. Maybe they're fighting. And I've also got a Repashy calcium spoon in here as well. So I like to add a little bit of powder into the bottom of the jar. Tap it. And I'll do a little bit of a multivitamin tonight as well. So I do dust pretty frequently, especially when I'm feeding my geckos and my frogs and things, because I kind of break the rules a little bit, and I don't use UVB on them. It's crazy, I know. Anyway. The lizard's going bonkers. Yeah, I don't use UVB on them at the moment just because the powder does all the work for me. Plus, the other thing that I'm a little bit concerned about is if I was to be putting UVB on all these animals, is the actual heat output from the UVB as well. How's the beardy going? He's going absolutely mental at the moment. And one of my frogs is having a really weird call. Really bizarre. Alright, so we're going to get some bugs happening. I'm going to start with some medium crickets. And we'll come back and feed some critters. Got a jar full of bugs. Give them a good shake. Get the powders all on them. Whoop. Don't let them escape. Alright. I'll feed these Perron's tree frogs up first, because they usually put on a pretty good show and they might actually come out and feed for us. I'm going to see if I can get you guys a bit of a better vantage point. I might even see if I can scoot you up a bit. Oh. Okay. Where are the little bloaters? I can see one. It's an absolute long shot, but I'm going to see if I can actually tweezer feed them tonight. I don't usually tweezer feed, so that's why I say it's a long shot. How close can I get you? You're practically inside the terrarium now. There's one down there. You can see him on the left-hand side of your screen. Let's see if he wants to cricket. Oh, he's gone. No, he's not. He's there. Bang. All right. You guys probably would have missed that, unfortunately, because he's jumped right behind that silly leaf. Let's see if I can move that out of the way. No. Frogs, or animals in general, don't work with them. Speaking of photos, a couple of my snakes were actually in a photo shoot the other night. That was quite fun. They're going to be advertising some saintly seltzer alcoholic beverages at one point or another, so I'm sure I'll share those photos with you if I get access to them. I don't know if you saw that, probably not. These guys are actually firing up and taking food for the tongs. Let me see if I can get one of these guys to jump out. Come on, don't be shy. It's up here. Whee! I don't know if the camera would have focused enough for that. You can hear the bearded dragon going mental down there. Come on. There you got one. That's so hard to see. That's a really bad angle to be able to get. Let me see if I can flip the camera around. We'll go from there. What frogs do I have? I have, let me figure this out. I have bronze tree frogs, common eastern froglets. I have Latoria bicolor, which are the northern sedge frogs. Of course you hop away now. Whoop, kicking the camera around. Latoria bicolor, red-eye tree frogs, common eastern froglets, I'm pretty sure I said that. Green stream frogs. I've got a white-lipped tree frog. I unfortunately lost one of the babies. Didn't last too well for me, unfortunately. He seemed a little bit weak. Anyway, these things happen. I'm not sure what the actual cause of it was, but take it for what it is. Oh, these little buggers have gone down. All right, I'm going to pour a few crickets in there and let them be. So get a bunch of mediums, and we'll take it down a peg, and we'll see if the red-eye tree frogs want to run around and eat in front of you. I know you're keen on some frogs, EJ. I know you are. It'll be good fun when you do get some. Be good to have a little frog enthusiast buddy to work with. Let me see if I can. I try to work sort of like systematically when I feed this rack. I try to go down the line and feed everyone top to bottom and of whatever size cricket that I've got going. So I'm going to move you down a peg. We're going to look at. So this is one of my northern velvet gecko enclosures. Might actually see if I can be cheeky and encourage you out a little bit. Hey, don't know what happened there. That was weird. Anyway, maybe it was my internet dropping out or something. So I managed to pull to the side with this little. Girl here. I'm pretty sure it's a girl. This is a northern leaf-tailed gecko. You can see she's got some crazy eyes to her. They're pretty intense. I love staring into those things because they just look like they're almost like a little globe or something with some countries on them. I kind of look at that like a bit of an atlas globe. No worries at all, Cam. Catch you on the next one. Yeah, she's a fantastic little critter. We're going to throw some bugs in there for her, see if she wants to eat. It's actually really warm in this garage tonight. Do I keep any venomous animals? I do have one venomous animal, and I'd only call her, she's only mildly venomous, and that's my brown tree snake. Let's see if she's hungry. She might not eat now, just because they tend to just really eat when it is actually black inside their enclosures and nice and night time. So she's actually got a bit of shed skin here too. I'll pull all that out while I'm here. Clean that up later. We'll dump a bunch of crickets in there for you to chase around, so you can enjoy those later. Sorry for waking you up, but thanks for being a little good sport on camera. We'll go across to the next enclosure here. Don't know if we're going to see this individual, but I'll see if I can coax him or her out. They actually need a bit of a water bowl top up as well, so while I'm here I'll go and grab my jug. Oh, the prawns outside are firing up. At least I think that's the ones outside. I hope it is, otherwise I've got them out. I've got a group of probably about 5 or 6 prawns tree frogs that live outside. Just outside the garage, so there might be a chance that they're going to make our lives a little noisier here. Where are you? It's half the fun of these animals is actually trying to physically find where they are. Oh, it's actually on the back wall. Oh, Jesus, he scared me. Alright, not in the mood for playing. Fair enough. Made me jump like a little girl. Put a couple of bugs for you. This one's only a little gecko, so that should probably last that one. See if we had any more comments pop up. What substrate do you use for your beardy? Well, I just use eucalyptus mulch personally. And that's just simply because I use it on a lot of animals here, and I got really sick and tired of the old sand in the glass tracks. So that really killed having sand here for me. Doesn't mean I don't recommend sand. I think sand's fantastic. It's just not very practical unless you've got front opening doors or something like that. Tend to work a little bit better with sand, I think. So now looking at the Wyberba leaf-tailed gecko enclosure. There's a couple of geckos stacking up on each other there, so see if I can give you a bit of a shot. So there's the head of one going up there. Whoop, running away. See you later. There's another one hanging down here too. There's a good chance I might end up with some eggs with this lot here, because I've actually got 5 of them in this enclosure, and they're starting to look pretty plump, most of these girls. Well, that's a shame, Moby. That's a waste of a life, that's for sure. Not that I wouldn't condone killing any snake, to be honest, but that just goes with being a little bit uneducated in the whole scheme of things, I suppose, is not knowing what animal is what, and they're completely harmless. So anyway, nothing we can do now about it apart from try to educate anybody on the topic. So there's a few little bugs for those guys there. And now we're going to move to the red-eyed tree frogs, because they're trashing their enclosure. It doesn't look anything like it used to, unfortunately, because these guys are just little monsters. They've just built it around on everything. There's a leaf in your water. Like, I do things pretty hey, that's about as crazy as I get with cleaning a water bowl. I'll take them out and give them a scrub every now and then, but I don't use soaps or anything on these guys' water bowls or anything like that. Just straight tap water and dechlorinated water back in. No, you don't. You come out. I'm going to get you a close-up of this one that's crawling around the top here. There's this cool little animal. How mad is that animal? Don't jump out of the enclosure, please. Oh, Jesus. Too close for my liking, mate. You can see I really need to clean this glass. So I've got 3 of these guys in here. Absolutely fantastic little critters. Look at that guy. Just chilling. And there's another little guy up behind there doing a bit of a leg spready. And they're pretty much ready for medium crickets now. They've kind of just graduated from smalls. So we'll get a few bugs happening in here and let them jump around and catch a few, hopefully. Go on, mate. You know you want to. You know you want to. Boom. How cool is that? You're sitting on the smorgasbord line because you're the smallest one, so that's why I fed them right in front of you. You need to catch up to your mates. Boom. Oh, all the action tonight. I'm going to focus it in on these guys. These guys are seriously cool little animals, hey? I think I saw another question roll in there. I totally agree with you about the sand. It's so annoying getting in the tracks and it makes the screeching sound. I also love how you try to make every terrarium you have as natural as you can. Yeah, I mean, oh, we've got another one almost about to go, I reckon. It's, you know, like, to me, that looks pretty cool. It doesn't look perfect, don't get me wrong. Like, I'd love it to be more lush, and I have a few plans to try to make it a little bit more lush, but even just recently I came in and put a whole bunch of new leaf litter and stuff in here just to kind of help break down in the environment and dump some more earthworms and things in here. And as much as these guys destroy this plant, it keeps wanting to grow, so I keep leaving it in here. Yeah, I do try to make it a pretty natural little environment for these guys because, you know, they deserve it. They're such cool little animals. I think he just caught one up there. All right, let's go on to the next tank. The green stream frogs can handle the medium cricket, but these guys only get a few in here because I don't want it to be overrun with them. There's one little guy that's actually hanging out at the moment, which is pretty rare for this time of day. So there's a little look at him. Pretty cool little critter. You can see the waterfall just kind of dripping, or the dripping waterfall thing that I've got going on back here. Just floating down over there. Bit of a drip wall. Java moss growing all over it. It's starting to come in. Goes down into a little pond area. I reckon it'd be really cool if I could breed these guys this year, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to leave it up to them, for them to do what they want to do, as I always do with most of my animals. The umbrella plant's kind of taken off again. He's finally rooted back in and going to fill in some space because for ages this is looking pretty empty up here, so it'll be nice when it's actually kind of filled up. Maybe I'll put another branch in that side or something for him as well, just to kind of hold the plant up. Oh, there's a few bugs for you. Yeah. Now, where were we going with that conversation before I started rambling? Hey mate, would a 60 centimeter UVB tube be okay for a 120 centimeter tank where it is next to the basking spot, or is 90 centimeter better? What animal are we talking about there? Like 60 centimeters should be fine. There's no reason why it wouldn't be fine. Yeah, it just really depends on what you want to do with the tube and what animal it's for. I mean, if you had a 90 centimeter length tube on there, then at least that's kind of giving the animal pretty much even light throughout the tank. But it's also not a bad idea to give the animal the opportunity to get away from UVB light. You know, some people don't really realise, but a lot of these critters, you know, they are for beauty. Yeah, look, you can get away with it. I'll show you right now. Look, I've got a 60 centimeter tube in with my beardy in a 3-foot tank, right? So, granted that is a 3-foot tank. I've also got a 60 centimeter tube in with my frillneck lizard, and that's 120 centimeters wide, and it's also 4 feet tall. But that does perfectly fine for him too. So there's no reason why you can't do it. Obviously, it's just not going to light up the enclosure as nicely. But you know, if you don't need to, you don't need to. I'm going to see if I can crack out this tripod again. So I've got to go feed the northern velvet geckos. So they're right up the top here. Now we're getting high. This thing can go pretty high. Oh, there's my head. Would I recommend a T8 or a T5? T5, 100%. The reason that I recommend a T5 over a T8 is just the output. The physical output of UVB is so much stronger in a high output fixture like a T5 fixture. So yeah, everything here that really needs UV, I'd use T5s. That's the only thing I'll use now. And I really spruik that with work too. You know, there's a lot of people that still use T8s and they are okay, they're adequate, but I don't think it's like a difference between, you know, do you want your animal to thrive or just survive? You know, and I think you get a lot better stuff out of those T5s than you do out of a T8 fixture. How are those heat globes that you've been trying going? Great. Definitely recommend a thermostat with them because they can get really, really hot. I actually mean to, depending on my situation and everything, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to do it anyway. But I've been meaning to get a couple for Loki's enclosure, but I also need to get a thermostat, so it's kind of time and money. But that'll be my next kind of venture for him, and I'll probably be putting another T5 high output UVB globe in there with him as well, actually. So that'll be cool. That's on the horizon. But yeah, so far really loving them. The snakes seem to really love them that I've got them with. The Kimberley Rock Monitor and the Frillneck love them as well. So long term, I just need to save up and get thermostats for everything and those infrared heating globes because I'll be doing it for everybody. It's just everybody that I can do it with. You know, I'm not going to do it for a green tree python because she's got a heat panel, so that's okay. But for any of my animals that are requiring heat, like dragons or monitors or whatever, that'll all be going over to those globes. And, you know, hopefully it'll actually save me a bit of money in the long run because, you know, buying heaps of incandescent globes can get expensive over a period of time. So, yeah. But no, I'm really loving it. And that's the honest truth. I'm going to set up my ladder here because I need to feed a couple of geckos up here. Kick that out. I saw something else just pop up then. What have we got? Yeah, thanks for the message, Jason. That was, or the comment rather. Yeah, it was a good question to ask. And you inspired me to build a form enclosure after watching your videos. Awesome. You'll have to send me a photo on my Facebook page when you do build it, because I'd love to see how you do it. I know Cooper went and built a few as well, and I sent him a link to the form ply that I was using for my enclosures, and his ones look fantastic as well. He got old Terry involved, his personal handyman. Coop's pretty handy on the tools, but I think, you know, he's got his own personal carpenter up there. So it's one for the win for Coop. I don't have that, unfortunately. Yeah, the form ply enclosures, I love them. They're so tough, hey? Like, they can really handle a beating. And for something that you can buy, like a 1.2 by 600 mil, or 1.2 meter by 0.6 meter sheet of form ply for $11 or $12 or whatever it is for Bunnings, like, you can build an enclosure for so cheap. You need about 5 pieces for an enclosure, so that's, you know, call it $60. For the actual timber side of it, like, you can build an enclosure for under $150, including tracks and screws and glues and glass and all the rest of it. So it's not half bad. If I put more water in your bowl, you're just going to spill it out again. You will, but I'm going to do it anyway, just because I want you to have water in there. All right. Let's see if I can point you guys up a little bit. Ooh. I need more floor space. Oh no. I hope I didn't, but I potentially might have just broken my tripod. We'll see what happens. So, for everybody that's still hanging around, I have forgotten to mention, I've got another couple of promotion codes for my Teespring store. So if you were after some reptile merch, and it's not just Beach of Scaly Beast merch, there's some, you know, cool reptile photos on t-shirts and stuff like that. You can get a new promotion code. I will chuck it up on the Facebook page a little bit later on. What did it get you? I think it got, so everything on Teespring seems to be in US, or as far as like the editing process and stuff goes, whenever I'm changing anything on Teespring. So I've taken $7 US off a lot of the shirts, which will probably be about 10 bucks Australian. I'm not sure of the conversion rate at the moment. So there's an opportunity for you to go and get some merch for a little bit cheaper over there. So yeah, if you want the promotion code, make sure you go over and check out the Facebook page as well, just Beat Your Scaly Beasts. And I'll put it up there. I can't remember what I made it. I'm pretty sure it's just BSB October. So it's going to be valid until the end of October. I do actually have a special promotion code that I've put up there for Patreons as well. So those guys that are the real pushers behind the scenes and, you know, donating to a good cause and keeping some lights on here and animals fed and stuff like that, they're getting a bit of an extra kick for that. So they're getting some, I think I gave you guys like 15 bucks off. So it was a pretty, almost double what the rest of the crew's getting. But that's all right. So if you're a Patreon, you've got a link over on Patreon or a code over on Patreon, so you can get those. Did I put crickets in there already? Yes, I did. There's a link over on Patreon, or a code over on Patreon rather, to get some cheap merch, and I will put up a code over on Facebook so everybody else can still get a good discount. And yeah, it'll hopefully contribute a little bit to here. And remember, 10% of that as well is going towards Sydney Wildlife. So whatever profit I do make on that, I'm going to be putting 10% into a jar. I've already got a little jar started. I think we've got about 10 bucks in there or something already. So it's a good start. Got to start somewhere. But yeah, go and check that out. I'm pretty sure the code is BSB October. I'll put it over on Facebook, and I'll make another post on YouTube once I'm done here with the code, just to make sure that everybody has free access to it. So I want to hopefully get you guys some cool merch. All right, we've got a few other things rolling in here. Angus. Hey, Angus. Have you ever had trouble breeding woodies? Mine don't seem to be breeding. Yeah, every now and then, like, I find the colony will crash. I think the biggest thing is two things. Regular feeding and food. You need to be able to make sure that you're... Sorry, I got distracted. One of my Gillen's monitors was running around the ground and... yeah, it's a Gillen's monitor. I'm lucky to have them, so I want to be able to watch them. Regular feeding and keeping them clean. That's my biggest problem, is because I get lazy and I don't clean them as much as I can. So I get a few die-offs in that sense. But you also have to keep them somewhat warm, but not too warm. So, you know, I actually, during the cooler months of the year, I'll stick a little tiny heat mat underneath their box just to make sure that there is a spot they can go to warm up. And of course, then they can get away from that if they wanted to as well. So that just gives them the opportunity to... Ooh. Hang on. I think I'm seeing something here. I'm pretty sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing. Give you guys a look. Flip it around. So this is my Gillen's monitor cage. And I think somebody is a little keen for some hanky-panky. I don't want to interrupt them too much, just in case that is what they're getting up to, because it sure as hell looks like it. Go on, mate. You know what to do. I definitely need some more Gillen's. Every man and his dog hits me up for Gillen's, so that's always a good signal that hopefully we'll have some more going on this year. I've actually put a nest box in their tank this year, so just to try to offer more nesting opportunities. I need to get my hands on a black one though. I really want to get a black one, just so then they feel more secure inside of it, or the female feels more secure inside of it. All right, I think I'm done with all the big crickets. I'm gonna do some small ones too. So sorry, I'll get back to these questions first. Yeah, so as far as woodies going, a little bit of warmth, lots of food, and clean them very regularly. I think you should hopefully be on a better track. At least that's what I try to do to encourage breeding. 90 centimeter tank all right for a beauty, or would 120 centimeter one be better? I'd definitely recommend a 120 centimeter tank for a bearded dragon if you can. I'm not in a position to do it myself, so that's why I created this 90 centimeter one, but it's 60 centimeters tall and 60 centimeters deep, so it's a little bit bigger than most 3-foot tanks. So I'm trying to do the best I can, but one day I want him in a 4-foot box for sure. I think that's just going to be better. It's more distance for him to run around and stuff. Like it's only more fair on the animal long term. Is all the lighting and the heating expensive? Yes, there is no doubt about that. So anywhere from, and this is just my animals, so disregarding the rest of the house bill and stuff like that. You need to settle, bro. You need to settle. What's going on? You come out here? All right. So as far as all the animals go, just the animals, not including the house bills, we're in the vicinity of around $500 to $600 for my animals. A month, not a month, a quarter. So it does get quite expensive. It's usually a situation of, especially during breeding season when I do have a few animals to sell, it's like, yay, I sold this animal and I've got this little bit of money, and then the bills come in and it's like, here's $300 for rodents, here's $150 on bugs, here's $600 for electricity or whatever it might be. So I think also when I do change all my lights over to being on thermostats and stuff, obviously that's going to help. During summer, I tend to only run the lights for about 8 hours a day, and it's usually 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours of an evening. And that's mainly just to kind of like reduce the heat during the middle of the day in the actual garage itself. So yeah, lighting and heating, it gets expensive. That's all part and parcel of it though, unfortunately. Can't do much about that. Yeah, green tree pythons are very beautiful and they are very expensive, and they can be a bit of a pain in the bum from time to time. Wouldn't you agree? You'd probably agree. But yeah. Oh, there's another comment there. Oh, sorry, putting my thumb over the camera. You can tell I've never done this on my phone before. Could you get away with housing adult blueies in tubs that are 475 millimeters wide, 170 centimeters high, and 660 centimeters long? I don't think that's a great idea, personally. I reckon if you're absolutely stuck in a pickle, I'd only be doing the big Bell's tubs. And when I say that, they're 1 meter long. I think they're 1 meter long, 50 centimeters wide, and they're about 180 mil tall or something like that. I know a lot of people would keep blue tongues in something like that, and that'd be okay too. But yeah, up to you. I think that tub size is pretty small for an adult blue tongue when you kind of consider that an adult blue tongue can exceed 450 mil or 45 centimeters, and your tub's only 66 centimeters long. So it might just be a little bit too tight in my opinion. Babies, yes, definitely. Could you feed smooth knobtails, knobbies, mostly woodies and mealworms? Yes, I'd say yes. Don't know about the mealworms so much. Maybe as a treat if you're going to fatten up the females. But woodies, definitely. That's pretty much all I used to feed mine. Yeah. Sonic is pretty cute. He's been pretty good now that you're out. Hey, maybe I should offer him a cricket. He's probably going to tear up my shoulder for this. There's a few bugs in there. Has caught your eye yet? They'll come out. You wait. He's trying to figure out how to get into it. Don't eat my finger, whatever you do. They're in there. Wait for them to come out. Look. Look. They're coming. There we go. Look, they're starting. What a funny critter. Don't hurt your head. Jesus, I'll go get his head stuck in a jar and then that'll be a whole other scenario. We'll avoid that, won't we? Alright. You okay? You ready to go back in? So yeah. Well, thumb over the camera again. Do I still have my hypermelanistic blue tongue? No, I actually sold him. I don't know what came over me with that. I think it was actually, to be fair, I actually think it's because I was keeping him in a tub and I wasn't appreciating the animal that he is. So I sold him to somebody that I thought would appreciate him more than I would. So yeah, he went off to a new home. As I'm yeah, I don't know. I'm personally just over keeping animals in tubs. I've got a few animals in tubs, and I don't like it. I prefer for them to have the space to be out of the tubs. Yeah, back again, are you? But you know, time will tell. Hopefully we'll be able to get them out, or if not, then I'll do the right thing by me and them, and try to find them a home that, oh, all right, but then they can have a bit more space. You're an excited little chap tonight, aren't you? All the extra bugs. Is that it? He's such a cool little lizard, this guy. I'm not the biggest bearded dragon fan, to be honest, but they definitely have their place in my heart. And I think that is solely because they honestly make really, really good pets. There's no denying that. They're such fantastic little lizards. So, you know, I get my little nephews over here, and little Darcy loves to pat Sonic and freak out about it for a tick or two, which is always good fun. Anyway, I digress. What was I doing? I was feeding critters. You got distracting me in a good way. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm in a good mood tonight. I'm in a very good mood. I got to go and ride my new surfboard this morning, so I'm very happy. If those prawns keep going on, we'll go and find those in a bit too. We'll go and show you the wild prawns, tree frogs. Still got stacks of crickets in here. While these guys are awake, I'm going to give them a few extra bugs to chase around. Fatten up. By these guys, I'm talking about the dragons. I don't usually feed in the evening, in particular because it tends to be a little bit, you know, like I think about the fact that the animal probably, the metabolism shuts down a little bit over the night time as it kind of cools down as such. So I think about it that way, but you know, every now and then I don't mind doing it, especially on a warm night like tonight. I'm going to get some small crickets next. What was I feeding small crickets to? I'm honestly all over the shop tonight. You've all eaten, you've eaten, you've eaten, you've eaten, you've eaten, you've eaten. Made some extra smalls for them. Little white lip can handle some smalls. Beaded geckos can handle some smalls. Alright. No worries, Team Griffin. Thanks for joining in the chat. Really appreciate you hopping on here. Bit of a random one tonight, hey? That's all good. Still got a few people involved, which is good. Whoops. Off topic, but do I watch the NRL? No, I don't actually, I'm afraid. Every now and then, if it's on telly or something, I might watch it for a bit, but it's not like I follow it or anything. I used to actually play rugby union when I was younger. Fair bit younger. Sharks all the way. Oh geez, we're going to turn it into one of those chats, hey? Keep it civil, people, keep it civil. Yeah, so I used to play Union. I quite enjoy the game of Union. I'm not the biggest fan of NRL. This is just my personal opinion. Oh God, I'm going to go off topic again. My personal opinion, I just find it too much of a stop-start game, and I really like the flow on of Union. But then the downside of Union is sometimes you get into a bit of a kicking match or something, and then that's yeah, you know, it is what it is. But no, I can definitely appreciate both sports. I used to go down and watch Manly play every now and then because they're local. Well, I work actually across from Manly Oval, so you know we hear the games all the time. But yeah, I don't sit down and watch it religiously. Let's put it that way. But if it's on telly, hey, I'll watch a few minutes of it here and there. Okay. Going for the bunnies, are we? All right, fair enough. I don't even know who's like in the finals or anything like that, or if the finals have even been done. Like I'm that out of the loop, hey. That out of the loop indeed. Alright. Go and feed some bearded geckos. These guys were eyeballing me. I was just checking if the she-oak skink was still out. Pardon me. He gets out every now and then. I'll see if I can show you one. Oh, here we go. There's a little chap down there. Hey, cute stuff. How cool are you? Such a cool animal. Where's the other one? Oh, there's the other one, just down here. There you go. A little bit hard to see. You gonna run out? Pop a few bugs in here for them to eat. I reckon they might be able to handle a couple of smalls. Or maybe. I might have to be a little bit selective with the smalls that go in here, to be honest. I'm gonna half close this enclosure. You guys can stand there and see that little cute gecko while I get my tweezers. There's just a few crickets in here that are probably a little bit too big for my liking for these guys. They can handle a pretty big cricket, but they're only tiny little geckos, so I don't want to hurt anybody. Alright. Got a few little crickets in there. I'm going to give this enclosure a bit of a clean out. They're such cute little geckos. There we are. Do you see it? Do you see it? I see it. Get it. Get it. They're always such terrible shots though. You're going to get your mate's tail. That's the little male that was taking the punt then. Ooh. Hear about it. I'm not actually, like, I'm probably about a half an hour drive from Manly, where I'm assuming you're talking about the fire up that way that was on North Head or whatever. You get it? These guys are hopeless. Yeah, I heard about the fires. It's not good, not great. What do you do? Can't really do much about it, unfortunately. Maybe just try not to burn so much stuff, but it is what it is. I didn't even smell them or anything like that. Like, usually if there's a fire close enough, then we'll smell it. Like last year when the fire season came through here, we were pretty close to it with West Head up the road. That was pretty shocking. That was on our doorstep almost, which was getting a little bit scary. But yeah, is what it is, unfortunately. What else have we got coming up here? All right. Do I have any smooth or rough knobbies? Unfortunately, I don't anymore. I used to have Levis occidentalis, Levis pulperensis, and I used to have the Amias as well, which was, oh man, that's such a nice gecko. Such a nice gecko. It's one of those animals that you sell and you end up regretting it. So anyway, what do you do? These things happen, unfortunately. I need to get some more on my hands. What is my favourite animal I own? That's a loaded question. That's a very loaded question. I don't know. I love things for different attributes, I suppose. Like, I love how intelligent Loki is, for example, but I can't spend a lot of like hands-on time with him, for example. So I haven't trained him in that sense to be a very cuddly pet, should we say. Which then I can appreciate from Sonic, for example. Then I look at things like the Boyd's Forest Dragons and I go, you guys are absolutely stunning, and I think they're a beautiful animal. But, you know, they're very skittish and more of a look-at pet. Like, I love, you know, my leaf-tailed geckos and the fact that they're cryptic nature. Like, in particular, the northern leaf tails. Like I think if I was going to keep one species, I'd be keeping those. They just seem to have just those eyes. Those eyes get me every time. I really love the frogs. I'm a little bit nervous about potentially moving into an apartment with frogs though. So I might just be keeping, you know, if I end up with some frogs that are really noisy, then that's probably not going to be great. So I might have to move them on. But we'll see how it goes. I can really appreciate, in all honesty, all my animals for all different reasons. So I don't know if I have a solid favourite. I think if we were going to kind of like, okay, favourite monitor, Loki, hands down. Favourite dragon, I'd probably have to give it to Sonic for his personality, just because he's an awesome lizard. But if it was about anything else, it might be the Boyd's Forest Dragons, but that could also be because they're also the new kids on the block too. But yeah, favorite python, probably the olive python. Just again, he's pretty smart for a snake. Like you can kind of see him working around problems and stuff. He's a pain in my ass because he won't eat rats, but that's okay. You know, if he wants to eat birds, I'm happy to give him birds. I'm just going to catch some crickets while we're doing this. Favorite frog? Favorite frog's a tough one. I like the green stream frogs because they're so small and they stay small, and their croaks are really quiet, but yet they've got like a nice little personality for a frog. But then on the other hand, I really like the red-eye tree frogs because they're constantly out. Like you can always see them whenever I come in here, so that's a good bonus. Favorite gecko, northern leaf tails. I've got two of them, so it'd be between them. Favorite turtle species, so I've got two turtle species. I've got the sawshells and the long necks. I love the look of the sawshells. I think they're a really cool looking animal. They almost look like an Australian version of a snapping turtle. Kind of like an American snapping turtle, I mean. But the long necks have a lot better personality. They come up to me in the pond and stuff like that. They'll kind of greet me for food and things, and they're usually the first ones that I'll see, whereas sometimes the short necks are pretty shy and they'll actually dim away from me. What other critters do I keep? That's pretty much it. Favorite blue tongues? Well, that's my blotched blue tongues because they're the only blue tongues I keep now. Favorite colubrid? Well, I've only got one brown tree snake, so I suppose she wins. She's a pain in the ass of a snake. I absolutely love her, but she's a pain, and I mean that in the best of terms. But she is actually she's a pain in the ass. She just doesn't. She's a pain to feed. Like it takes me a good half an hour or so for me to get like one tiny mouse into her whenever I do feed her, and even then, like some nights I'll come down here and try for like 45 minutes and she won't eat at all. So she's a bit of a pain to feed. Maybe I need to speak to a few people about some other options of what to do to feed them or whatever, but we'll see how we go there. But yeah, that kind of covers like my favourite of different species and stuff that I keep. Alright, got a few more things popping up here. Yes, that's no good that the smoke was bad at yours, EJ, but I suppose it would probably be pretty close to home for you. Could I do a video of keeping and breeding Nephris species? There's a chance that I could. I think as far as like keeping and care videos go though, I will probably kind of do videos on animals that I am keeping now, just so I can actually show content of it. But in saying that, I do have a lot of photos of breeding things like my knobtail geckos in particular. So yeah, once I kind of brush up on how long things were, like gestation and stuff like that, maybe I will put together a video and just do some photos and stuff along the lines of it. So yeah, not a bad idea. I'll write it down in my to-do list of videos. So there you go. Definitely a love-hate relationship with the brown tree snake. Love it for the fact that she's nasty and she's a wicked little animal, but hate it for the fact that it's just painful to feed. Absolutely painful to feed. Yeah, like I'm not going to beat around the bush. I've had some bad luck with some animals at the moment. As I said earlier, I lost a baby white-lipped tree frog. That was kind of never right, so put it down to what it is. I recently had some rats actually get into my blotch blue tongue enclosures, getting the food that was left in their enclosures overnight, so they managed to break into those, and whilst they were doing that, they weren't only taking the food. One of them managed to chew the nose of one of my blotch blue tongues, and really hurt her, which wasn't good. So she's kind of recovered from that, but I actually ended up losing another blotch blue tongue that ended up succumbing to some wounds and stuff from these attacks. So that was really sad. So I'm now down to 4 blotch blue tongues. I actually only lost that one today, so it was a little bit raw. What else did I have going wrong? Oh, brown tree snake's being a brown tree snake. She's being a pain to feed. And Wasabi, my green tree python, that's hanging there. He's had 2 bad sheds in a row, which isn't awesome. So I actually think that's a dehydration issue. So as much as I'm wetting rodents and stuff when he eats, I think he's just one of those snakes that doesn't want to drink from a water bottle, which is really doing my head in. So I am actually spraying him, which I don't like doing to green tree pythons. They should know how to drink from a water bottle. But anyway, they get a little bit lazy if you give them what they need. It's kind of reminded me that I need to give him a spray. So hopefully he drinks a few drops of water. He always puts his head down now. I don't know if he's actually running away from the water, or if he's sticking down to have a little drink. But hopefully he's getting hydrated. So there he goes. Now I'm just dropping stuff. All right. No worries, Moby. See you later, mate. Have a good one. Where do I get my sprayer? If you're talking about this spray bottle, and I will get to those earlier questions, I'll just do this quickly. This spray bottle, straight from Bunnings. You'll know that you'll see that I've got frog written on it. Oh, the lighting's really bad, but it does say frog written on there. And I have that there just so that I know that I put dechlorinated water in there and it's good and safe for frogs, so I can spray down frogs if I need to. I tend to use dechlorinated water on everything now. There's no real reason for it apart from the fact that it takes out me accidentally dosing my frogs with chlorinated water. So, you know, I wouldn't usually do it for any of the other animals, but just the frogs. Some idiot doing a burnout up the street. But yeah, anyway, there you go. Have I ever had RIs go through my collection? No, I haven't. Very lucky. I have had RIs in the past, but I haven't had them spread around. It's usually been like one heating element's failed, and that's why a snake's gotten an RI or something like that. So, yeah. Are those frogs still outside? I'm assuming you're referring to the Perrons, and yes, they would be. I've actually just been waiting for it to get a little bit darker, so hopefully I can take you out there. I don't know if I've got a torch down here, and I don't know if I can kind of get up my phone torch or something while I am doing this. I'll have to see if we can find them. I'll have to feed my frog. I'll just finish off feeding my frogs for a tick, but I can do it. No, I can't. I don't have the option to do torch. Thanks, EJ. Yeah, it kind of sucks. These things happen though. Let me kind of finish up this video. What I'm going to do, don't leave just yet. I'm going to just quickly feed my common eastern froglets. Then I'm going to see if I can jump outside and give you a few shots of the wild Perrons tree frogs. So it'll be worth hanging around for if I find them, which I'm pretty confident I will. They're not too hard to find, and they're only a few steps from the back door here. Let's go have a look. Oh, did you? Well, dude, that's awesome. What did you get from Teesprings, EJ? Let me know which shirt you got, or whatever you got. That's really cool, and I really appreciate the support. And honestly, dude, you support me so much as it is because you're already one of those awesome OG Patreons. And I really appreciate that. Well, let's see if we can find some frogs. I can certainly hear them. What's making that noise in the background? It'll either be my beardy that's like been running around the enclosure like mad, or depending on if you're talking about the other noise, then that's wild Perron's tree frogs. My beardy passed away from adenovirus 3 weeks ago. I feel your pain, man. Yeah, so adenovirus is one of those really weird things, hey, like it either really, really hits them hard and affects them, or they just carry it. So that's hard that went that way. I'm sorry for that, and yeah, it is what it is. I'm really sorry for your loss as well. That's no good. They sound like raptors. Yeah, they do. There's a sound there. Gillen's shirt. That's awesome, EJ. Definitely have to send me a photo once you get it. It does take a little while to come. Could I do a video on the sicknesses that Nephrus get, I'm assuming, and what the causes are? I might do care videos, but I don't know if I'd do one of those just because I don't know if I'd be confident enough to talk about what they do get and stuff. All right, let me see if I can find these prawns for you. I can hear you. All right, I can see one. My shadow's going to block him. There's one little dude there. It's really silly that I can't. I can do filters, but I can't do a light. That sucks. Ooh, enable flash. Hang on, here we go. I learnt something with technology. I love this frog. This one in particular, he's got some awesome yellows and stuff on him. He's absolutely fantastic. There'll be more hanging around here too. Like, as I said, like we usually have about 5 or 6 of them. I just have to scour around. So this is my turtle pond here. I've got these little guys. A couple of little frog safe ponds. You can see one of them hanging out in the water. There you go. I'll see if I can get a better shot quickly. Focus in. There's one. Just chilling. Unless that was the same guy. Might have been the same guy. Looks like he might have hopped in. I can only hear the one croaking tonight, which is actually surprising because it's been a bit of water around tonight. Just check it over here. I can't see anyone out yet. It's still pretty early for them. The sun's only just gone down. Well, there you go. I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you so much for joining in. Remember, I'm about to post up those codes and stuff for the Teespring promo codes and stuff like that. So that'll be really cool to see. And if you want to, support me a little bit further, go and make a little purchase. Get some cool merch. See what, and remember to send me photos of you guys rocking your merch. So I'd love to see it. I'd love to see all the different shirts and different colours and stuff like that you can get, because I want to buy them all, and frankly, I can't because I've got nowhere else to store shirts. So there you go. All right, guys. You guys are absolutely legends. Thank you so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for jumping on and, you know, joining a video here and there. I hope you guys got something out of it. Saw a few critters and stuff like that bouncing around. You're all awesome. I'll see you guys next time. Catch ya.